we ready. Ready, 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 ready. We're ready, we're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Ready, 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 ready. If you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road.
Like pepper, douglAR Radio. In the house is the original Kokidi, the man himself. We have none other than the heavy roller Jeffrey, and yours truly on the inside. Today, ladies and gentlemen, of course, there is so much happening in our Twin Island. There is so much going on. There is conversation with the Prime Minister. There is the scrapping of the committee that was appointed by Stuart Young, in which Eugene Tia had to withdraw. Now we are hearing about a commission of inquiry. We are also hearing that independent individuals will be sought by this administration. And when you hear that, you could afford to know exactly what would be taking place. As you hear these people talk about independent individuals and independent institutions, you ought to know what is going on, because Stuart Young have also appointed, according to him, an independent team of individuals. And lo and behold, upon further and close examination of Stuart Young appointment, we found out that there was a man on the inside who had a matter in which Stuart Young and also the man himself at the helm of Trinidad Holdings, which is Kwamana, Rowley attorney, Rowley partner, we had to see that action had to be taken in order to have things resolved. Today, ladies and gentlemen, remember douglAR Politics will be starting at 7:30. The man himself, Anil Roberts, would be conducting that program. And of course, we will cross over at the appropriate time to ensure that douglAR Politics are air and also allow you to view the proceedings. So douglAR Radio will be giving way to douglAR Politics at 7:30 sharp. Last night, ladies and gentlemen, we heard Keith Christopher Rowley. Of course, Jeffrey and myself and Corky was here, so we had to catch the news later on. But something that stands out most of all in Rowley's presentation is the fuel subsidy. Rowley stated that as a result of what is happening with Russia and Ukraine, and of course, that is one of Rowley's partner, Rowley associate, Russia, Iran, Venezuela. You know, all these is Rowley cahoots. Those are Rowley buddies. So, Rowley was saying last night that as a result of what is happening in Ukraine, and because of the high prices of oil, while in my words now, while other countries would be benefiting from the high oil price, Corky, Trinidad and Tobago will not be benefiting. Trinidad and Tobago would not be benefiting from the 116, 115, and according to Rowley, whether it be 116, 115, 120, 140, 190, 200, Trinidad will not be benefiting. And I want to start off this evening by asking Keith Rowley why.
Why?
That is where I want to start. I want to ask Keith Rowley why Trinidad and Tobago would not be benefiting from the spike in this oil price as a result of Putin's aggression. That is what Rowley did not tell us. You see, this government have a way. They tell you what is the problem, but they never tells you who create the problem. They tell you when the sky is black, but they will never tell you who is responsible for the black skies. And today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to let you know why Trinidad and Tobago would not be benefiting from the high oil price that now exists on the international market. Ladies and gentlemen, I know if we were getting, or if we had time to reach by the subsidy part. But I want to tell you, for sure, what we missed today, we're going to pick it up Sunday at 7:30 on Facts, Not Fiction, Facebook, YouTube, douglAR Politics. Anywhere tune in, you will get it. So let me start. Trinidad and Tobago, ladies and gentlemen, was always in a position as to when oil price spike, we benefited. Yeah. Always. We always enjoy when the international market, whether it be the war in Kuwait, whether it be the war with Saddam Hussein, whatever war, once there is problems, at that time in the Middle East, Trinidad and Tobago smile. Now we will not be smiling about the aggression at that time, but we always smile because of the price of crude that we benefited from over the years. This country, God has blessed us with natural resources. While you can go to Guyana and other South American countries where you can find gold, where you can find pearl, where you can find precious stones, in Trinidad and Tobago, we had what is commonly called black gold. We had black gold, Corky. And we, the people of this country, we were quite clever enough to find ways and means by the help of experts from the international community to help us as to how we could have get this black gold from below our soil into our tanks. Ladies and gentlemen, this country survived as a result of oil that is within our geographical location. This country, ladies and gentlemen, benefited tremendously. And I want to touch in Labre here, because Labre, one of the first oil well was drilled in our constituency, the constituency of Labre. kudos to you, the people in Labre. Although you never benefited from the wealth that comes from your soil, from under your feet, from under your houses, from under your kitchen. You never benefited, but yet we were able to build Trinidad and Tobago as a result of our contribution from the Southland. At one time, ladies and gentlemen, we were responsible for the economy of this country. A matter of fact, we have also helped build other Caribbean countries as a result of our black gold. We, ladies and gentlemen, coming on from the days of TPD, Texaco, coming right down the road, ladies and gentlemen, down to Tesoro, down to Trintopec, to Petrotrin, Trinma, Forest Reserve. We have built this country. We were at one time the boss man and the boss woman of the Caribbean. A matter of fact, we were like prince and queens in Trinidad. When you mention Trinidad, you mention royalty. Yeah. When you mention Trinidad and Tobago, you mention oil. Yes, we was recognized throughout the world. But here what happened as we go along. As we go along, ladies and gentlemen, we were faced with governments who came in and exploit the oil industry for their own benefit and for political gains. We're being real here now, we're coming real, we're coming hard, we're coming stiff, and we're coming serious. We have allowed, you and I have allowed the politicians to manipulate the oil industry, using it as a milking cow, where they make this cow merciless. And when they finish milk this cow, and they find that the breast of the cow hadn't the amount of milk that they were accustomed to, instead of they nourish the cow and put the cow in green pastures, they decide to cut the cow in pieces while the cow is still alive.
Wow.
That is what they have done with our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we have seen governments put more weight on that industry by adding into it their political finances, their political partners, those who they had interest invested in, place them throughout the rank and file of the company, bringing the company to a point where the company becomes overweight. But what happened? When the time had come to put the company on a diet, here comes a mad, crazy horse that they call the Prime Minister of this country. And while this was happening, ladies and gentlemen, the Prime Minister of this country, coming into power in 2015, the Prime Minister decided that they will further milk the cow. Even though the cow, the breast of the cow was sore, they decide that they will continue to milk the cow. And I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago something. I tell you before, that this situation with this cow that we call Petrotrin, it was a situation where this whole fake oil paradigm was set up by high-ranking officials within the PNM. It was high-ranking officials from top to midway in the PNM were responsible for this bacchanal and this scandal. And when it reached the stage where they would have been exposed, where high-ranking officials in the PNM would have been brought before the courts on corruption and money laundering charges, what they did instead was to shut and kill and murder the cow that they call Petrotrin to save themselves and their financiers.
My God.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm giving all it real, you know. I'm giving all it factual, you know. I'm giving all it because over the past year, I have revealed the financial statements of that company from 2010 straight down to 2017. I have shown you where this company was making a profit, even though the Prime Minister builds a case by false information and by false allegation in order to protect the government, in order to protect the high-ranking PNM officials who were involved in that scandal. And coming out of that, ladies and gentlemen, what they did, they came and they shut down that Petrotrin. And as I said before, I am saying again, to protect the vested interests of the PNM and those in high office. You see, this scandal, this fake oil scandal, when the minister at the time, who was Olivier, allowed that investigation to be conducted, today, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen that the Prime Minister of this country fired Olivier while she was outside on a vacation, a short vacation. They didn't even have the courtesy to allow her to come into the country. They bust her throat on the outside without any explanation. And you people sit down and take that without demanding explanations. But let's move on. So coming out of that fake oil situation, ladies and gentlemen, we are now faced with the task of paying much more at the pumps than we would have ever imagined in this country. You see, we had an oil refinery. And that oil refinery, ladies and gentlemen, we were producing gas or gasoline, for a better word. We also produce kerosene, diesel, jet fuel, regular, super. We produce the works. But what happened is when this corruption reached the stage where international investigators would have come in, because remember at the time, this Petrotrin also were involved in financial agreements outside of Trinidad and Tobago. And when you hear you have investment in the US and other countries, when something of this magnitude takes place within a country, it will be a matter of time. It was only a matter of time for the whole belly of the cow to be exposed. So what the government did, they take in front before in front take them. So they shut the refinery down. They speaks of restructuring. They said to you, you have seen the Prime Minister with graph and data and giving you all level of false figures that you, the layman, you, the man on the street, the average man, would not pay attention to. And then there were those. Jeffrey, a man said to me about last week, it's good Petrotrin closed down. So I asked him, I said, but why you say that? Hear what this man rationale was. He saw all of them who was playing big boy and getting nice salary, all of them had to be begging now. You see Trinidad, you know how wicked and evil it is?
A man could think in that kind of
A
manner.
big man tell me that last week that the good Petrotrin closed down.
No, well, that part of the narrative that the Prime Minister was creating.
Painting.
You understand? Faith and not a feel sorry for me.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are now faced with a situation that we will not benefit from the high oil prices based on the decision of Keith Rowley. Full stop. It had no if, no buts, or no maybe. We would not benefit from any oil price could reach 500 US a barrel. We will not benefit, Corky. We will pay more because we closed down our producer. We closed it down to purchase. We stopped refining. We stopped producing all the petrol that we will need in this country. And we are now buying fuel from outside countries. You see the kind of evil that this government produce. But as we go on, ladies and gentlemen, welcome caller.
Say too long.
But as we go on, Corky, the Prime Minister speaks last night telling us that we would not be benefiting. Welcome caller.
Mr. Jeffries,
Yes, good afternoon.
and to the boss, Mr. Victor Roberts, and to Mr. Corky, blessed night to you all.
Same to you, sir.
You see what happened, sir? You see, when they close down the sugar factory, it's no different what they take the heart of this country and close Petrotrin. You see, when you close down the sugar, you could keep the sugar because you have real industry in this country using sugar. And you close it down to buy sugar. Everything went up. The same thing come now. You close down Petrotrin, the heart of a country. Air, sea, and water and land, you close down to buy your diesel. You see, and everything going to go up, and you think the first world country do not know what they're doing? They say electric car come in. So why are we going to run these things for? In 10 years ago, so they will sell it out early and mash up everything. Everything this government has done for this country is mislead the people, lie for the people, and are very dishonest. You see what happened with them 5 divers? You go down there, and you have underground transmitting to on surface. When them fellas was in problem, the fella underground called upstairs. A diver went down and pulled up one. How you could come now and lock the valve and lock them fellas inside it? They still was living because they had oxygen and everything. But people don't understand. Mr. Victor Roberts,
Yes,
I could
sir.
ask you a question, sir?
Yes, sir, if I could answer, I will.
All right. If you have a case in the Supreme Court and your lawyer didn't come, virtual hearing, your lawyer didn't come, can the judge dismiss that matter with charges?
Explain what you mean with charges.
Well, they say you have to pay. That's what they're saying.
Well, for my knowledge, let me just share a little bit and tell you this. If you have a matter in the court And the matter called a couple times and there's no appearance from you, and there's no appearance from your attorney, then what the magistrate will do based on what kind of matter
No,
it is.
this is in High Court.
In the High Court?
Yeah.
Well, I will have to seek some advice on that for you, sir.
Okay, sir. You have a blessed and a wonderful night, and God guidance be with you all.
Thank
But
you.
you're talking for the people of this country. But we, the people, if we cannot unite, we will never help ourselves. Because the people who are there don't know how to run a country. Have a good and wonderful night, sir.
Thank you. So, we will not be benefiting. And the reason we will not be benefiting is simply because of the decision of Keith Christopher Rowley in this country. You see, I want to say something, you know. I really want to tell a little something. I also hear Keith speaks of, but I want to go there yet. Let me go, of course, on that subsidy yet. Koki, Petrotrin was a viable organization. Throughout the years, throughout the rank and file of this country, Petrotrin always stand out, even from a corporate standpoint. Petrotrin do what it had to do, even... Welcome, caller.
Good evening, Victor.
Yes, my brother.
Good evening, get a son. Good evening, Coffee. Short and
Yes,
sweet.
sir. Yes, sir.
Short and sweet. Regarding the Prime Minister asked the Prime right? He spoke a segment. Well, first of all, it was irritating to listen to that man, but I grind it out. I listened to him.
Right.
He spoke on a segment regarding a question about the justice system, and he said that the speed of the justice system was unacceptable. So, and then he went on a tirade about how he moved out the temporary parliament to some kind of court system, and he moved something online. He went down in a set of circles, and he come back around, and he went back in the opposite direction. You know we just talk, right?
Yeah.
So, what I conclude from that segment when he spoke about the justice system, he basically bashed your attorney general.
Of course, he did.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thanks. Of course he did. Of course he did. And sometime if, based on what Anil deal with, I will know how to deal with that going forward if I will have an attorney here to help us all to understand a little bit further on that, right? I don't want to really talk out of my league for the time being because as I said last night, Corky, I am still in kindergarten as far as law is concerned. So I'm not going to jump out of my league. There's competent people within the party, competent people that I know who is attorneys at law, who I can get at any given time to come and explain to the population more clear as to what is happening. Welcome, caller.
Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon.
Okay, good evening to you all in the studio.
Thank you.
I want Trinidad and Tobago to hear what I'm saying. A double-minded man.
He's unstable
Just
in
let
all
me
his
take my
ways.
time.
He's unstable in all his ways. You hear me, caller?
Oh God, I forget that part what I wanted was to say.
So
Anyhow, what I want to say,
Hear this. The
the
book
Prime
say,
Minister went in Venezuela and hooked up with Maduro and Delcy. They take him from Trinidad, they go carry him out in the Middle East. They drop him out in the Middle East. And now they're turning back now and going and drawing up. This is Venezuela talking about it.
Yeah.
Now going and drawing up back now.
With America.
They left he hanging in the balance. You understand? This is what Trinidad and Tobago want. How sweet that is.
Yeah.
You understand? I want to know, I want them people who don't think and who can't speak to hear that. What they think about that. That is what they want for this country, you understand?
Yeah.
They don't want less good for this country more than foolishness in this country. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Tobago. And the caller is right. But Koki, as I was saying, we are in a situation that we're going to feel the full pain of allowing a bunch of mad people to run this country. We're going to pay a price. And we're going to pay that price whether you like PNM, you like UNC, you don't like nobody, you're going to still pay that price, Corky. Because you see, when a small group of individuals who you elect and put at the helm to administrate, to bring policies, to make decisions that will build the country, that will build the livelihood, that will sustain your economy. And a matter of fact, to even reduce the GDP, when you have a bunch of people who clueless, you will end up in serious problems. Yeah. And we are in serious problems even while the Prime Minister will sit down on a chair with some fancy shirt and feel that, he could just come and speak. And, I was watching in the crowd, which was a few, and I seen one or two people shaking their head in support of what this man was saying. Yeah. I wonder how foolish and how dotish people could be in this country. We were at a point where we ought to be benefiting from our own resources. Or they bring our government. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr. Roberts. This
Good
is
night,
a caller from Happy Valley, Erin.
Yes, sir. Welcome, Erin, Happy Valley.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And I just want to say about the guy in San Francisco.
Right.
What the cause and effect that it have in this country. Right?
Yeah.
That is, we heading for dirt biscuit.
Exactly.
Yeah, thank you, Mr.
Thank
Roberts.
you, sir. And this is the reality. Okay, this Jeffrey, this is the reality. A government make a decision based on a piece of corruption where government officials was involved in, and in order to protect those officials, what this government did was to shut down, lick up, destroy Corky, the backbone of this country. Yeah. This Petrotrin was one of the biggest forex revenue owner. Welcome, caller.
Good night, gentlemen. Good night, everybody. Listeners.
Yes, good night.
But
good night,
it's so sad to see that leaders are being targeted as dictators and all this kind of thing. But what is happening now, we see a leader who is taking advantage of a minority, and the minority is showing them, no, we are not going to allow your aggressiveness to take part of us. Just quickly, lies and deception are presented to them by the roots. They are also, maybe they'll never know the truth. Now they are aware of the truth. Where will I go? Is either Tobago or embraced by Maduro. I thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you, caller.
This was a poet, boy. This was a poet.
Yeah,
Take
he's
the
a
call.
poet.
Take the call. Welcome, caller.
Good night, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Victor Roberts,
Good night, good
Corky, and
night.
Jeffrey, and all of you all.
Yes, sir.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Listen to this, man. History has always taught us that anytime there's an oil boom with oil prices, Trinidad benefits.
Of course.
This is the first time. This is the first time we're going to suffer. How can we let the vaccine vagrant, AK Pimpanian, to carry us down that go to track, boy? As a country that, I mean to say, we people in Trinidad do understand this man digging a hole for all of us. That is what he's doing. This is the very first time. Every time we hear oil prices, everybody jumping up, looking to buy this, looking to buy that. everybody now look, and they have nothing to cut back on. So what's the next alternative things to do? Ask to Jam Jacob to help us with bringing down the crime rate and things like that. I mean, they say this country has become so ignorant, and you know what they're doing? Facilitating and allowing that man to mash up this country. Right, you know what I was looking for? I was looking for him to come and tell me, in case all you didn't hear it when all was closing all your car door and not going to shut down Wassa.
Thank you, caller.
Go on.
Yeah, thank you, caller. Cutting everybody a little short today because the time limited and we have real calls coming in. Welcome, caller.
Good evening, Mr.
Santa
Roberts,
Cruz,
Mr.
good day.
Jeffries, Mr. Corky, and to everybody out there. Good evening, good evening.
Good day.
I want to know how much that conversation costed. How much it costed the country you know, I want to use some words, but you don't have to be respectful.
Of course.
You understand?
Of course.
I want to know how much that cost us because that man, he just dazzles his supporters with brilliance and BS. I don't know who, you know, when he have these conversations, it's only his supporters he's talking to, you know. Because these people sit down there and they're clapping at the nonsense that this man is speaking. And as the last caller rightly said, this is the first time that we are not going to benefit from an oil boom. And why? Because of that blight that's sitting down there. The man blight the whole country, Mr. Roberts. He blight the country. And I want to tell Mr. Eugene Tia, right, just shut your mouth and go. You know, in the first place, you had no right to be there. Just shut your mouth. Do the honorable thing and shut your mouth and go. And if you could take Stuart Young with you, take him and go. Because all this nonsense that he's talking, trying to make it look as though now is because of what the leader of the opposition was saying, who were against it. But it was wrong. It was wrong. And Mr. Victor, I want us to say something. You want to tell me, I don't know what this man is thinking about. We still have to social distance. We still have to wash our hands and wear our mask and whatever, right? But we squeeze it up in the back of a taxi with two other people.
Madness.
What difference that, I mean, what sense that make?
Thank you, Miss Santa Cruz.
Ah, Lord, take care.
Yeah, thank you. Well. Take that call one time. Welcome, caller. Welcome, caller.
Welcome. I'm Victor. This is your partner here from Digo.
Right. Yes, sir.
I the guy who sent the text for you.
Yes, sir.
In 2003, our community kept protests, and we stayed out there 360 days. We slept on the with the cockroaches and rats. And we just went home to bathe and visit our family and so on.
Right.
And I think this kind of staying power should also be practiced by people who are not disabled.
Right.
You know, you have to, when you say stand your ground, it has to have a meaning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you. So, Corky, I am saying to you that we were in a position. Take it. Welcome, caller.
I'm saying again, Corky, Jeffrey, and Coffee.
Yeah, make it quick because we're cutting short. We've got douglAR politics
no,
coming
I'm
in.
going to make a prophecy tonight.
Go ahead.
Karma have to take him, you know. No, you know, we having these conversations with the people. Sooner or later, you will have a conversation with these people in the remand yard.
Yeah. Thank you, caller. Welcome, caller.
Yeah, this is a Fox in the house.
Fox, go ahead. Shoot. Go ahead.
Now, we causing this problem. The people of Trinidad and Tobago is causing this problem with Rowley.
Fox, something wrong with your phone line. You're breaking up real bad. You're stumbling. You're going ta. Something wrong.
All right. The people of Trinidad and Tobago.
Fox is still
Same thing.
Up.
Yeah, real bad.
But there's a problem with the phone here.
Hang up and call back.
All right.
Yeah, Fox line going ta. Sometimes the phone line calls and that also. Yeah, we were in a position, Jeffrey, where we and everybody will tell you that we benefited tremendously as a result of any unrest anywhere outside there, where oil, as far as oil is concerned, Trinidad and Tobago benefit. And we allow one piece of corruption that Petrotrin lose millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. And in order to bring that to a close, where people would escape the law of this land, you know what we do? We shut down, we murder, we kill not only the refinery. Go ahead, caller. Welcome.
Yes, tell me. Is
Yeah,
something
good
better?
now. Yeah, good day now.
Yes. Now, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, is the problem why Rowley is still there. People of Trinidad and Tobago rather to go army fet. 80,000 of them in army fet, and you can't get 1,000 of them to come and fight to save their own country, to save their own land.
Yeah.
They rather to go fet and whine and push back and come back and talk and walk and I had a good time last night and I had this last night.
Correct.
But your country going under, we going down a cesspit, we going down a dark road. And none of them, all of them sit down home watching one another because them have a work. But tomorrow all you win at the same work.
Of course.
And all you going to be crying the same way. Get Trinidadians and Tobagonians. This is our home. We have nowhere else to go. Get up. Rowley, move Rowley from there. Rowley only coming in dark clothes and mama guy and all you and talking once as a BS. Camilla, you sit tight. We will move him and you will go there. Thank you.
Thank you, Fox. This is a serious issue, you know. And Fox raised a very pertinent point. While people starting to whine, jam, and fret and have a time, to the end of the day, you will realize, Corky, what is happening. Yeah. But we mash up a company who was responsible for bringing in millions of US dollars in this country. Let me tell you something. The effects of the closure of this Petrotrin, we ain't really start to feel it yet, you know. Yeah, we ain't really start to feel it yet, but it come in, and it's just to save. I see a man whining. He say, "Oh God, Rowley, I love you like how hog love mud. Stuarty boy, watch me, Stuarty, watch me." You want to carry them in the mud? Yeah, you want to carry them in the mud, and this is what we tolerate. Welcome, caller. After this call, we'll take the break. Yes, caller, welcome. Good night, welcome.
Good evening,
How am
caller.
I speaking to? Victor?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. You're speaking with Victor.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Naipaul from Canada. I spoke to you on the 8th of February.
Yes, sir.
You sure I'm talking to Victor?
Yes, Victor, yeah.
Because I'm looking at you right now.
All right. Go ahead.
Listen, you want to know where Rowley is going?
Well, you can help us by telling us.
I want to tell you where Rowley is going. Mr. Rowley has become a communist. What he's doing, all the independent, what you call entities in Trinidad, he's making it into dependent entities on him. From the police to the Senate, everything else, okay?
Yeah.
What is happening here that Mr. Rowley knows he lost his home country, which is Tobago, and he knows he's going to lose Trinidad. But he don't want to go back to play with his balls or with his stones because he's we call that job he used to do. You know what he was before? Oh, anyway. So anyways, he don't want to go back to what he was doing before if he lose elections. He's not a doctor, so he can't open a doctor's office and work. So he does not want to lose what he has.
Right.
So his next step, watch what I'm going to tell you. His next step is that he is going to null and void all elections and make himself president for life. I'm telling you this. Mark my words.
All right.
I'm not recognizing your voice, Mr. Roberts.
Yeah, it happens sometime. These days the Sahara dust giving my sinus a little problem, but I'm here.
Well, the last time I spoke to you on the air.
Yeah, of course.
What happened this time?
Well, we still here.
All right.
But we had to go for a
right
break.
Now. Would you tell Jeffrey that I say hi?
I will.
And Anil?
Good night, sir.
You know who's speaking to you, right?
Yes, sir. I don't speak in.
Yeah.
Night, Paul.
That's right.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for your contribution. Yeah. We had to go for the break. You want to take this one and before we go? Take this one before we go. Hello, welcome.
Good night, sir. How are you?
Fine.
Why our Prime Minister so big and stupid for a big man, boy?
Is it nature?
People,
Probably his nature.
People in the country suffering and a man raising up oil again. But I know sit on the news that that's a big donkey, you know?
Yeah.
What? But that's a big... But listen, but every time I say a man, I get you know.
We back, caller. We have to go for a break now because we're running out of time. I said we had to go for a break so you could call us back. Take it.
We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Ready. We're ready. Yeah, we're ready. Ready. If you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Blackrock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle from the first restaurant in 1968 when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air. They just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and it's the real flavor of TNT.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
It's time to make your community better than before. Join yours truly, Kieran Joseph Samaru, on Your Community. We'll be discussing the important issues with the important people in the place most important to you, your community. Join us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. right here on MCTV as we know and make your community better than before.
Sport is in trouble. What can be done to save sports in TNT? Join host Gordon Pear on Sports Insight every Monday and Wednesday on MCTV from 4:30 p.m. as he identifies the problems, look for solutions, and points the way forward. Sports Insight, where we talk to the coaches, athletes, administrators, and of course, you, the fans, as we bring positive change through sport.
Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Join me, Anthony Jules, on Late Nights with Jules, only on MCTV. New guests every week, activity, games, hot topics, a lot of discussions. You don't want to miss it. Tune in and join me only on MCTV, 9 p.m. Trust me, you don't want to miss this.
Calling every human.
Welcome back, people. Welcome back. We just want to big up a few people who have contributed to the construction of the building in Brian Toby Chase. David Toby Chase. David Toby Chase. I catch you. So the people we shout now, Sheldon, Sean, and the TSTT crew, Jerry, Suknat, Narish, Quintessential Builders, the Compass Foundation, Lisa, and others. Special thanks to douglAR Politics Chat, the international viewers, Parkash from Canada, Kalu from New York, Raj from Miami. You have contributed a lot to the construction of the home for these children. Trust me, it reached a long way. It went a long way, but there is still much more to be contributed. You can contribute at douglarpolitics.com, or you could call Mr. Victor Roberts 3164468. So people, well, Archie Pop some PTSD. PTS went for Vishnu.
Alright, Vishnu, if you could put up the PTS, let me show the people how far the construction reach.
Yes, that would be nice.
I think it has some problem on the other side. Take that call one time then before we start. Take it. Go ahead, caller. Welcome inside.
Hello, good afternoon. Good evening.
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah, this evening, this country is in total disarray and riddled with poor governance.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to this speech by the Prime Minister last night, and my analysis of the whole thing is an admission that over the past 7 years, they have failed. And I think that he reached the point where he can't do anything better. This is what I gather from it. It's an admission that I have been there, I have failed, I can't go any further. And the fact remains is that he's not fit to lead. He was never fit for governance, and the evidence is there. This country has in fact had a sudden but definite decline in all sectors. The economy is in total mess. So that is where we are today, and I think that those who would want to see this government continue, all they would be doing is making life more difficult for themselves and others within this country. So I'm saying that it is time for this government. You admitted last night that you can't really, that's an admission of inability to run this place. Call an election and let people choose who they want to choose. Because I am convinced, if you do the analysis, you sit down and you analyze that speech, you realize that the mission of failure. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution, caller. Thank you very much. And this is what Trinidad and Tobago should be looking at. So this is the house that we are constructing in relation to the 3 children up in David Toby Trace. We want to shout out Mikey.
Mikey,
get it right today, boy, Mikey, boy.
Mikey, day and night.
Day and night. That man from up in David Toby. And that man, watch me, that man, I telling you, is a real soul there. That man stand up with them people. That man, that is not Mikey.
That is not Mikey.
And watch now, Mikey is the man that really, a matter of fact, we end up there because of Mikey. And when we saw the condition, together with another gentleman who I talked to him today, and I really asked him if I could call the name on the radio station. But I had to get permission first before I could call that individual name, right? But this is where we at. And Jeffrey just said thanks to those who have assisted, but there's much more for us to do. Now we have all the boards and things for the sides and all that are ready to just put up, and we're trying to have this place completed by Sunday afternoon, right? But of course there's some fixtures and so on that will have to go to the inside. Some of them we get in. It have little things to do because remember it's 3 children and their father. So there's little things that we had to put in place still that we asking people who willing to contribute. We want to thank all of you who have contributed in one way or the other. And it doesn't matter how small or it doesn't matter how big. We appreciate your contribution. There's a lady in Marabella, a very elderly lady. And that lady came out and said, Mr. Roberts, look, I want to do something. This is what I could do. And, we really, really appreciate it because sometimes people feel that it had to be some kind of large thing for it to be recognized. But we recognize everybody we recognize from the $50, the $20, the $100. We recognize everybody because it's everybody making a contribution for this to happen, and we really appreciate that, right? So we're saying thanks to you all, and we're saying that you can make your contribution. Those from you from the international standpoint, douglarpolitics.com, and those of you here can call me at 316-4468. That's my number. Call me. Whatever you want to donate, it doesn't have to be money. You could donate a sink, a toilet, clothes, school books, whatever. The children is from 4 to 7. Right? So anything, as slippers, as sneakers, or whatever, right? We will appreciate it. So thanks, and call us. Feel free to call me anytime. 316-4468, or you can make your contribution at douglARpolitics.com, whether you're in the US, Canada, Australia, England, wherever you are. That is the situation. So we want to say thanks. Back to Keith Rowley. Remember, douglAR Politics will be coming in at 7:30 sharp. Stand by for that. Yours, the giant Anil Roberts, will be coming to you at 7:30. So stand by for that, okay? Back to Keith Rowley. So, caller, you make a very salient point a while ago, the last caller, from the press conference. It is proven that this gentleman just run out of ideas and cannot move this country forward. And I am asking the people of this country, how much more would you allow? A matter of fact, how much further down the pit all you want to really go? And the caller make a point, and I agree. Call election and let the people decide who they want to run the country. Right? Call election and let the people decide. So those of you who have your hiccup, and those of you who have your ill feeling, and those of you who study in race, like all your business. This is bigger than all you. This is about country. And when you come into country, I don't care about race. I think was Stalin. Is Stalin that sing that song by? So far as don't care about race, so far as don't care. Go see if you can find that tune for me. I think it's a Stalin. Yeah, so far as didn't care about that. You understand? How much more we would take in this country before we get up and demand an election. I am saying, people, listen what's going to happen. Or like a jump high, or like a jump low. I am telling all you that the prices going to increase. Everything going to increase. That is it. Bust it one time. We go take some calls after.
Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from town.
Sufferers only want to know
where the next food coming from.
one for all them racists. That's one for the racists. Anytime you bounce up a racist and you hear them running them out, it have a whole set of people don't care what they talking about. A racist is someone living happy and all their family doing well. So race talk is really not for people in the ghetto catching hell. Now tell the racists, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place.
And this is what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. And I feel Stalin singing about this government, you know. I feel it's this government he's talking about. Because every time they run in a country and they're back against the wall, that is the tune they play. Race. That is what they bring. Race. We don't care about that. We want election now. That is what we're talking about. Talking about.
A racist is someone living happy and all their family doing well. So
welcome, caller. Go ahead.
Good evening, good evening.
Cascade,
good night,
Cascade, right, Cascade. Cascade, we cut in just now, so we had to make it quick today.
Yes.
Go ahead, shoot.
Stalin sing about the typical PNM, you know.
Of course.
It's the typical PNM man sing about, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to call Mr. Anderson in the Beacom and ask him if they fix that sewer. Because this rain falling right through, and if they don't fix it, that water would be running. And human feces, again, is an epidemic called cholera. They just have to quarantine. If people feel when they get cholera, they could leave the Beacom and go in town. They just have to quarantine you. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. 20 minutes, next 10 minutes, we out of here. douglAR Politics. So we open the phone lines. Make your calls now. Make your calls now. Give me Stalin there by the time.
So race talk is really not for people in the ghetto catching hell. Now tell them racists, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from town. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from.
How could we allow an individual, a group of small people who are in the minority, to make decisions that destroying the country, destroying the stability, destroying the economy, and yet we just sitting idly by and allowing this government to do what they want, and to the end of it all we doing is just complaining and complaining and complaining. People, stand up, people. This is what this country need, people who will stand in the gap. We have to stand for the poor and the oppressed and the downtrodden. This gas price and all the increase would not affect this government. Take the call. Welcome, caller.
A blessed night to Mr. Victor Roberts and crew.
Yes, sir. Good night.
Yeah, good night.
Listening to the Prime Minister last night, from Dr. William to now, divide. Mrs. Kamala is the problem, but she's not the Prime Minister. How you could keep coming and keep blaming Mrs. Kamala when you tell the people, put me and I would fix it. But you didn't tell them how you're going to fix it. But you're mashing up everything, Prime Minister. If you give respect to the people would give you respect. But from then to now, with 5 years of you, people had a choice, and 5 years of Mrs. Kamala Prasad, Bissessa. The question was, Barabbas or Jesus Christ? As simple as that. God, people don't believe in spirituality. Mr. Rowley, you have to come through this hard time to bring this country down where it is to. You sell you mash Petrotrin when we could have taken jewelry oil, refinery oil, and sponsor ourselves. Look what you have done today, Mr. Prime Minister. You're drilling, you're sending it to refine, and then you have to buy back, Prime Minister. Please go. Do like Miss Motley. Call an election and let the people choose again. Have a blessed, wonderful night.
Thank you, caller. We had to stand up, boy. We had to stand in the gap, boy. Poor people were dead in this country. All they feel COVID was bad. All they feel COVID was killing. What is happening today in this country? Our children will pay the price. Our grandchildren will pay the price. Not because you have some food or you have a $2 in the bank. Don't feel that you better off. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a time that we have to save this country. Welcome, caller.
Yeah, Silver Fox here.
Yeah, Fox.
Now, I want all these people who call in Victor here, all who call in Victor, I want a date for all of we to meet in Trinidad. I want a date. Victor must give out the date. I don't want the date over the TV. Right? Victor could call and give out the date. I want all of we to meet. Let me stop the talking. Let me be serious. Because we could talk from now to the next 3 years and return president and change election. You don't have none again.
Thank you, Fox.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fox. Thank you. People, what... You know, there is a song in Sunday school. They used to teach you, Corky, tell me what more can Jesus do? I don't know what they want again, but how much more? How much more they want?
Call elections.
What all they want to see again? All they have seen it all in this country. All they have seen the wickedness, the oppressive type of behavior, the dictatorial behavior. When the man talk, the man don't care. The man bawl at all you. He shout at all you. He embarrass all you. He take all your work. He take away all your pension. He cut in all your food card. He take by everything in a mess. What all you want again in this country? Tell me. Welcome, caller. Tell me.
Good night again. Quickly.
Yes, make it quickly.
What more do they want?
Quickly.
Listen. When you're weary, hang down. When times it's come, we must go on. Thank you.
Thank you, caller.
Right. Sorry, callers, we have to cut here now. Archie, stand by. Give me a tune. We have a few seconds. Give me.
Stand by. douglAR Politics starts in 1 minute and 35 seconds. Thank you, Victor Roberts. Thank you, douglAR Radio. Stand by for douglAR Politics. Good evening and welcome to douglAR Politics. Shamfa Kujo, Minister of Sport, you're buffing people and you don't understand why you're buffing people, attacking the Pro League, attacking the sponsors, attacking the owners of the clubs, attacking the TTFA, wondering whether you should have to bail them out or development. You can't. You have been put there as a Minister of Sport so that they could take and divert all funds away from sport to somewhere else where Keith Rowley and Smallpin and them want the money. So you have no power, you have no authority, you cannot fight for people in sport. So behave yourself. And what you have to do is you have to listen and try your best to see what you can do rather than shouting down at people when you have no idea about the benefits of the football and the TT Pro League. It's bigger than just finances and just making a profit. The TT Pro League gives young people who may not be academically inclined but have great skills to earn huge salaries an opportunity to take care of their families, to earn a sustainable wage, over 4,600, especially African people in Trinidad and Tobago get jobs and work from the TT Pro League. But you wouldn't understand that. They put you there because you just walk a half marathon. But a letter by Mr. J. Ali in the Newsday, you should really listen to this and see if you could go and ask for some help. Sporting facilities in need of attention. Now that team sports can resume, can the Minister of Sports or the regional corporations or CPEP arrange to get all the high bushes and grass on community fields cut urgently? Pavilions at many community fields and parks are also in need of repairs and upgrading, since many of them have been neglected before and during the pandemic. Some of these areas that people can use for sporting facilities need a lot of upgrading. Football nets are needed, proper fencing for cricket areas and basketball hoops, etc. All children's playgrounds need to be updated, repaired and fenced, as well as the soft underground, and so that when the children fall, they wouldn't damage themselves. Toilets are needed in these areas as well. Okay, so instead of buffing people about what you don't know, try and see if you could fix up what Kamla and Anil don't have there for the people, because you ain't do nothing, you ain't build nothing, you ain't upgrade nothing, you ain't gain nothing. So at least just try to maintain what we do until we come back there to handle new thing, all right? Because you and Randall Mitchell now asking for a master plan from somebody who not in the PNM. All you're tendering out for a master plan for sport tourism 2022 to 2030. So what happened to 2015 September to 2022? All you had no plan. You admit you had no plan. You never knew what you're about. You have no clue. Yet the PNM comes here to come and attack people through Rowley all the time. Expect consequences for Facebook libel. Now, this is very important to many of you all, especially PNM. Now, just because Anil don't take on some of you who with their comments and so on, that's because I do cough down. I dealing with Rowley, Small Pin, Alrawi, Convent Girl, Rohan, Sinan, and Colmin, but up there, because they're doing the most damage, right? But you all better read this article when you're printing, when them fellas tell you mama gizam and lie, but they're so bright that they don't come out and say anything specific, so them can't go, you can't take them to court. But all you just take basket and go and try to type out thing on Facebook that them tell you, but them ain't saying it. Well, look what happened. Dinanath Ramnarayan get $800,000 from a man who libeled him on Facebook. Facebook libel is not a sport that anyone should engage in. But if they choose to do so, then there will be severe financial consequences imposed by the court. For too long, some people have been using social media platforms to tarnish the names of others for their own personal gain. And this is something that must be stopped. So said Master Martha Alexander as she awarded former Trinidad and Tobago West Indies cricketer and president of the West Indies Players Association Weeper, Dinanath Ramnarayan, $775,000 in damages exclusive of interest after businessman Rafi Ali made certain defamatory statements against him on his Facebook page. You see, that is the difference. I come on this Facebook, I go on radio, I on radio since 1997, on TV all over. And anything I say about Keith Rowley, the PNM, anything is pure, unadulterated truth. Defamation cannot be defended, or defamatory statements that are lies. You could get sued. So when you see me, I don't come out and I don't play, even though I detest Rowley. I will never lie on Keith Christopher Rowley. He is the worst prime minister in history, and I can give you 100 reasons why. But y'all who like to play, and the PNM who like to tell lies, that is a good precedent for all you. So all you start to get your checkbook out, because it's worth going up and down these steps now. Now, I was watching Archie. I don't know why I couldn't sleep last night, but it was a good thing I couldn't sleep, because I watched cricket. The West Indies are back. If you see brilliance, if you see amazing, fantastic performance, intelligence, hard winning, teamwork, positivity, intelligent field placing, ball changing, togetherness, fielding, batting, bowling, wicket keeping, amazing. If you see the West Indies, you could now be proud again. Now, for all of y'all, check yourselves now. Break the bias, because it's the West Indies women I was watching. All of y'all who thought and assumed that I was talking cricket, and all of y'all start to picture the West Indies men. Happy International Women's Day. Break the bias, because all of that description was for the West Indies women. Today I couldn't even watch the West Indies men. The most set of dotish cricket I ever see. Man playing test match and getting out like as a T10. But the women, just give them a little taste. Give them a little taste. This catch, man, woman, or child, watch class. Run it, Archie.
Oh no, what a catch! Will you see any better? Deandra Dottin, absolute screamer.
That is incredible. That really is incredible.
That is 10 out of 10.
The balance, the skill, the timing. Oh, can watch that over and over again in real time, even better.
So all of y'all, including your ladies, when you heard me describing the brilliance, the intelligence and so on, all your picture in male cricket, not so, be honest with yourself. That means the bias all subconsciously deep down in all of us. So we really had to break the bias. Now I didn't want to do this on International Women's Day, you know. But the Guardian newspaper printed a beautiful thing. If you see, nice high quality paper to celebrate women and so on. And put a lot of successful, brilliant, intelligent, amazing women who had broken the glass ceiling and so on. It was a very good package inside of the Guardian. But the douglAR would not be the douglAR if I did not have to ask the Guardian. Or you couldn't even put aside your little political shenanigans for one day. Y'all could not find like a Miss World, our Miss World, TNT Miss World, who might even win the whole thing, and her truthfulness, her passion, her helping children, her being a patriot or not being afraid to deal with issues, helping children across Trinidad and Tobago, a positive, young, brilliant woman. All you couldn't put her on the front page. All you couldn't put Roxanne De Freitas, CEO of Massey Stores, on the front page. All you couldn't put Ambika Mongru, CEO of Massey Distribution, on the front page. All you couldn't put Maggie York, some of these ladies who have broken the ceiling, who have done brilliantly. Guardian, y'all take a lady who, unfortunately, since she has come to the fore, she's overseen total failure, total collapse of the health system. You could move this way. Y'all Guardian really had to play politics so much that all you put this, Kominachi, Dr. Miriam Abdul Richards, really? When there's a scathing report that just came in 3 weeks ago, a 105-page report that shows that her and her team, they have been the biggest failures in the world in COVID-19. Over 3,620 citizens are dead. There are reports about doctor and nurse burnout, lack of resources, bad management, no specialism, ICU death rate the highest in the world. And just for politics, out of all the brilliant, impressive, successful women, all you choose to put this lady on the front page because it's to try and uphold and uplift PNM. How do you explain that? Really and truly. How? Why? Why, Guardian? Now, look what you make me. I didn't want to do that, but it is not fair. If you are given a front page for success, for brilliance, or you also, the Express give an next one, Parasram, Man of the Year award. Man of the Year, we the worst in the world. 105-page report on COVID-19 done in 1 month. Scathing at every level. Lack of oxygen, lack of medicine, not spending money to save lives. $8,000 for a certain medication to save lives they didn't get. And you all had to take it to play PNM, to play politics, to put this lady, and I didn't even know it was her at first, you know. What's coming close again, Archie? I had to look about 4 times. I had to read who it was because I didn't recognize this picture. I just don't understand. So, Guardian, cool all yourself with the politics for a little bit now. Or nothing on merit. Y'all really not even a front page on merit, Guardian. That is so sad. All of the brilliant, intelligent women across everything, judges, lawyers, professors, businesswomen, people who in soca, in music, arts, literature, all of these brilliant, amazing, successful women. Or you take on an International Women's Day, unfortunately, a lady who was put in a position and failed dramatically. Not failed just in the Caribbean, you know. We are the worst in the world. 9 out of 10 people dying in an ICU. Total collapse, total calamity. But you're playing politics. Why, Guardian? Why? Upset over bad roads. Mundo Nuevo residents protest. Fix the roads right now. Chanted 15 residents who lined up. Oh Lord, it looked like a swimming pool. Look at this. Across Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know what to say again. I don't know how people even driving. I don't know how people, the shocks lasting, the brakes, how much money you spending to maintain your car. Look at that. That is not Haiti, you know. That is Trinidad and Tobago under Rohan Sinanan, where they report into the collapse of the creek that will cost 50, 60, 80, 100 million to fix. Look at this person with a car. They now spend money. Look at that. And them had to drive on that, going back and forth every day under Rohan Sinanan. And it's not just there. It's all over the country. Dago, Martin, Claxton Bay, Couva, down in San Fernando, Princeton, Naparima, Labre, Point Fortin, Mayaro. All across. It has never been as bad. As we talking, never been as bad. The Minister of Man say that the PNM is going to develop some modulated water treatment plants to increase supply by 5 million cubic feet. Really? Barry Padarat blaze here already. And I would just agree with Barry Padarat. Minister of Man, our problem in Trinidad and Tobago for water supply has nothing to do with supply. It has to do with distribution. God has given us enough water. We have enough catchment areas. You all also spent a 120 million US 2018 to 2019 under Minister LaHunt, and only went and dig more well and so on to increase supply. Minister of Man, it's very simple. If you have a bucket and you drill 43 big holes in the bottom of it, and you keep filling it, it will always empty. So when you distribute your water and you lose 5 billion gallons of water per month, the problem is not supply, it's distribution. So going to make some water treatment plants to increase supply to do what? Increase supply to pump it, to lose it. And then you all have the audacity to bring law and tell people don't use the hose. Minister Man, this job is just too much for you. It's okay, son. Not everybody could be at that level of intelligence and capability and managerial skill and understanding problems. So people in Trinidad and Tobago, please, this is the PNM. They are just incompetent. It does not matter how much supply you increase. If when you produce 8 billion gallons of water per month, 5 million is thrown away. What you have to do is stop throwing away the 5 billion gallons, and then we could all get some water. NFM, brace for even higher flour prices. Now, when things hit you in a perfect storm, then you understand that elections have consequences. NFM, brace for even higher flour prices. Wheat prices jump 52% in 2 weeks. Just now under the PNM, you would not be able to even eat bread or cricks. And there's no agricultural plan, no agricultural program, no local input. 500 million they talk and did not invest. They take money from the Agricultural Development Bank that farmers could access. They take back that to go and pay rent for Al Rawi. If you don't have a plan, if you did not have a plan, you see, you all might say, Anil, you keep saying the same thing, but August 1st, 2020, the PNM did not have a manifesto. They in election mode for 36 days before. The election was 9 days away, and then in the evening of August 1st, they give you their so-called manifesto, and you all went and dip your finger, and now you don't understand why road bad, no water, electricity rate going up, crime out of control, you can't get jobs, you can't get laptop, no school, nothing working. You wonder why. Well, if they didn't have a plan, they're now asking for a sport tourism plan. After 6.5 years of being in office, them tender out. Last week I showed you Randall Mitchell tender out for a sports tourism master plan. Sports tourism under Kamala since 2011 coming forward was going to increase the GDP of Trinidad and Tobago sport tourism by $1.5 billion a year for the first 5 years, and then increasing to a maximum if we held our capacity and increased the events, the sports festivals, the training. We could have gotten that up to $2 billion to GDP across the board, with hotel, transport, coaches, facilities, maintenance, tours, everything, restaurant, bar. But all you didn't want a plan. All you didn't want Kamala. You didn't want growth poll. You want no banana. So you vote for people without a plan. CWU, cabinet probe into TSTT operations. Another mama guy. Patriotic Energies, OWTU, mama guy. TSTT, mama guy. Labor unions, mama guy. Across the board, TSTT now, more people to go home, mama guy. Kamala on Monday night show you 36 committees, all mama guy. More mama guy because no plan. Elections have consequences. Always take more time in choosing a doubles man than you take in choosing who to vote for. You don't find that don't make sense? But you must understand, because what Rowley said, Archie, about labor, when he crumbled OWTU, he attacking the port, he going at WASA, they already start to remove contract workers, he going at TSTT, they disrespect tutor, they going at the port authority, they going at workers across the board. He even talking in a crybaby conversation with a crybaby last night and trying to tell all you why he coming to attack public servants too. Not because of his incompetence, He coming, his incompetence leading you to suffer, and all you dip all your finger for that. Archie, this is what the man said about labor.
What I'm against is dotish labor leaders who are leading workers astray.
Dotish labor leaders leading workers astray. But you leading them where? Into hunger, starvation, and no food on the table. Because of your lack of intelligence, lack of heart, lack of care, lack of selection, lack of management capability, lack of talent identification. To be a great manager, you don't have to know anything, but you have to be able to know who know and put them in position. You put a convent girl in charge of health, all are we dead. You put a minister man in charge of water, we tap dry. You put a lawyer who wasn't even good in law. I was a bush lawyer and I beat him in the one case I had to go with Brian Manning. Two of them beat me and my brother beat them. And you put he in energy. He know nothing about energy. He can't spell energy. You put a Dwayne who can't build a stadium in the Ministry of Finance. You put a man who stay an inordinate amount of time in the office of Attorney General. He could not even get through in law school. He did not even do any case underneath here. You put people who are incompetent around an incompetent prime minister. What do you get? And why would you vote for that? Because they tell you black man have to vote for that. So if water brown, and a black man say, listen, drink that brown tutu water. It's smelling bad. It's looking bad. But it's a black man tell you drink it. Or you go drink it and give your family. So what nonsense you talking about being a black man and voting for a party that's supposed to be black, but they really hate black and black man getting more pressure? Please help the douglAR understand. Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley, he's still in the Newsday, page 16. Let me make sure the date. Tuesday, yesterday. Here Rowley. This is the man who they vote for. This is the email gate. This is the man who say he's not a liar. This is Renaissance, man. This is Landate, man. This is Las Alturas, man. This is Noel Garcia, man. This is Delcy Gate, man. This is HDC, man, that he say he know how the cabinet note reach. This is Bridgman's man who say it went through the normal cabinet process, but then come in the JSC and say, yes, oh, I was in Tobago. I approve it. Prime Ministerial approval. That's the man, Keith Christopher Rowley, the man who lied more than Trump. Listen to him now. Yesterday, well said on Monday, we as a government, PM, Atlantic LNG Train 1, not abandoned. Boy, this man just pathological. I had to laugh because I sick and tired of telling all you. And if all you don't understand it, well, I don't know if you ever want to understand it. Rowley added, we as a government and certainly right-thinking people cannot be the voices to take delight in nor share the news that Train 1 is no more. He reminded the population that in May 2019, it was agreed with BP and Shell at the highest levels that we should look at a new structure for Atlantic LNG and the possibility of a unitized arrangement for the future, keeping TNT shareholders even. Gas curtailment was signaling a possible end to Train 1. Rowley said the restructuring of Atlantic LNG is unprecedented and necessarily very complex, right? So he said it's still going on till June 2022. He's still going down with that. The ship sunk. The water bubbling by his nose. And he's still telling all you, no, the ship good. Don't go overboard. Overboard, we underwater. Just remind them, Archie, and then all you want to know, where are you voting for this? That's why Tobago spit he out, dig up the navel string, and pelt it away. Run it, Archie. Secret deal. In announcing the signing of the HOA, a release from the Ministry of Energy said the Atlantic LNG facility comprises 4 LNG trains, each with different shareholder structures and commercial arrangements. It was agreed that the Atlantic LNG facilities would be managed more efficiently if brought under the framework of a single ownership structure, giving the impression that the restructuring involved all 4 trains. See, that's coming out from Small Pin. It's press release, giving you the impression that the restructuring involved all 4 trains, including the Atlantic Train 1, where the major shareholders had told Numskull number 1 and Numskull Train 2 that we're not doing that again. That's too inefficient and we have to put our gas. We don't have gas for that. But they decided, Numskull number 1 Rowley and Numskull number 2 Small Pin, to take your taxpayer dollars, 233 million of it, and pump it there, even though the experts said waste of time. They are smarter and more arrogant with your money than the experts. Let's continue. The agreement reads, anyway, Curtis Williams says, giving the impression that the restructuring involved all 4 trains when the Ministry of Energy knew fully well this was not on the table. The agreement reads, the ALNG restructuring project shall involve the consolidation of 3 Atlantic LNG joint ventures into a unitized facility held by one joint venture with a common owner. The heads of agreement is effectively the final nail in Train 1 saga, which has seen more than $250 million of taxpayers' dollars wasted by the NGC in a failed attempt to revive the facility. And the NGC is the PNM, it's Rowley and it's Small Pin, Stuart Small Pin Dunce Young. The government, led by the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, and the Minister of Energy, Stuart Young, have consistently said Train 1 is not yet dead and was subject to negotiations. The head of our agreement now shows that both Rowley and Young are aware that Train 1 is no more. But come in here, Archie, come in, man. Let me tilt it down from the light so you could read it. You could read it? Oh gosh, them lights bright. I hope y'all could read it there, but I'll read it for y'all. Prime Minister Keith Rowley Atlantic LNG train 1 not abandoned. So we here read the Curtis Williams. We here get Curtis Williams and get the signed seal contract and so on. We didn't read what BP and Shell say since 2019. We here don't nothing. He just come out and he going down that road on the horseback. And that's who y'all vote for. And when you think that you're going to vote for a pathological liar who does not care about you, who only cares about procurement without procurement legislation, gutting procurement legislation and legalizing thieving. That's why nothing works and your life is torturous. Even the man who does dance, so he under pressure, he looking to dance all over the place. But now here comes the pressure. Rowley sits down now after he has shut down the energy sector, after he has taken away your fuel subsidy, after the Dwen laughed at you. I'll take it again, they haven't rioted yet. Hear what Rowley now come to tell you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, of which many of you made the error and voted for that man. Run it.
With oil price at $100, which is quite possible based on what's going on right now, even if you fall back a bit from 128 or 130, the estimated subsidy, we're looking at 896 million. The levy in the fund on the companies would be 459, and the government subsidy would be 437 million. So what all this means is that the government, through the Ministry of Finance, and the Minister of Finance is working on that right now, will have to take a decision as to how much funding we can find to subsidize, to take some pressure off the population. But the population cannot be insulated completely from oil running at $120, $130, $140 dollars per barrel. So in short, what I'm saying is that do not see the height in oil price as opening up huge possibilities for earnings, because the volumes at which we are producing oil now is not the same volumes we had before when the subsidy.
Now there's so much nonsense. We are not producing volumes because of his government, his inefficiency in 2015, 2016, 2017, lack of maintenance, lack of investment in the oil production. Oil production under Kamala and Kevin Ramnarine went up to 94,000 barrels per day. Under Rowley, it dropped to 31,000 barrels and is somewhere around 37,000 barrels now. So the lack of output is due to his incompetence and his stupidity, number one. Number two, what is he talking about protection? That subsidy piece he's talking about is the last piece that the Dwen has not been able to remove yet before the full liberalization of the gas market and the selling off and additional profit margins and so on. But they've removed about 80% of what Kamala had. They're protecting the people and protecting you, even though the same people came to Kamala and tell her, move the subsidy, move the subsidy. You see, when they move the subsidy, they say that they don't want to protect you, but they want the money for their recusals. They want the money to pay Al-Rawi rent. They want the money to pay Al-Rawi outfitting for the building. They want the money to make sure Noel Garcia could spend money where he's spending so that it could drop in a big bag somewhere. They want the money to go so they could refinance and borrow from Small Pin Brother Company that is his CEO. They want to direct the money where their friends and family is. So directing money to all are we, all are you, through subsidy. That's not for he, but all you vote for him. Run it, Archie. If I fed up tell all you, I tell all you, so you know. And let me tell all you something. This is not the real full brunt that I talk about yet, because they still have a little piece of subsidy left that they are to move, and they still have the liberalization and the selling off and the privatization of all them gas stations and the removal of them, and then the owners could then mark up and put profit margin on top of pain. But the UNC told you all that long ago, but we dip finger because what? You don't want banana? Okay, run it.
Coming but say, yes, there will be a gas hike, but we hope it wouldn't be too big, too high. We getting gas hike internationally, global prices, plus we getting markup, plus we getting it in with PUEFM. So all you go ahead, all you find the budget and hit you now, because you see, people are line up because it didn't happen. We don't have an exact date of when the increases will come. So normally we just line up to pump gas, but we ain't line up because it coming as soon as the global economy returns to normal. Prepare for 200 to 300%. For those who don't understand, multiply what you're just paying now by 2 or 3 and die where you go fill your tank for. Bless. Hey, left foot.
And he's unable, and then he's going to say that he want to protect, then the public servants, he does protect you, so y'all keep your jobs. What? Rowley crashed the energy sector. He shut down Petrotrin that was earning $2 billion of foreign exchange. He took Malcolm Jones out of court when Kamla and Anand Ramlogan had him in court under pressure for the World GTL. He took him out of court. He shut down Petrotrin even though there was $64 million of advice. I said, don't shut down that, restructure it. He then Mamagai and Petrotrin, the refinery, is still shut down. So we have no benefits of products after that on the markup, even while the world and the prices have gone up. So we have no benefit even from the energy sector, that if you left it on automatic pilot without Rowley, we would have been better off. If you had no cabinet and no PNM government, we would have been better off. Rowley then also went to Houston and negotiated gas price and caused NGC to make a loss for the first time in history, to move from a profit position of $2.1 billion down to a loss. Rowley then, his same negotiation with a small pin, made 11 industries in Point Lisa shut down. Point Lisa is operating at 24% capacity, the lowest in our history. This is Rowley and his decisions. They then went to make a deal with Nikwan Energy to do the same World GTL that they take Malcolm Jones out of court for, even though the Attorney General and them announce it and the Privy Council laugh at us and show us that we are an embarrassment to good governance under the PNM. All you remember that? Nikwan gone, and they put Alison due diligence Lewis, who was a former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, who wrote the finance rules. As Kamla lost, she jumped out and went as the chairperson of the PNM board and did not understand procurement all of a sudden, and Bridgemans that could not even qualify to supply a dynamite get to bring Cobostar here. It was Ocean Stem that never reached, and the Cobostar that reached over 200 million of your taxpayers' dollars for that floating piece of junk. That is Alison Lewis. And when Rowley scuttle a tender and tell you, the people, the board under Alison Lewis didn't find any vessels when they tendered, and FOIA showed that they found 11, of which 4 of them were as good, if not better, than the APT, James, and so on. And then Rowley and Smallpin used that, pelt out Rohan Sinanan, and he and Rowley going to procure in Australia and come down to take bids into the hands of Smallpin, the super minister. And Smallpin say his committee saw the bids with Incat and Ostal that they had gone down to visit, and when he saw that Ostal bid was higher, the committee contacted Ostal, told them about Incat bid, and Ostal dropped the bid. Anywhere else in the world, that is bid rigging, and police would have been knocking on the door, but not in Trinidad and Tobago. You uplift these no rhythm dunces who don't care about you. But on top of that, the Atlantic LNG, when they have board members taking instructions and asking for indemnity, the 2 board members who say no, all you're mad, why all you wasting taxpayers' money in that thing dead, we had to move a different direction. They fire them 2 and put 2 to replace them, because they have to say, yes, master, anything you say. Corporate governance, no, we don't care. Intelligence, no, it's not important. Wasting money, no, if you say to waste, we waste. That's what they do. And where the mass media talking about whistleblowing, 2 whistleblowers pelt out. Rowley did all of this, taking away your fuel subsidy, crashing the energy sector, no diversification, and then come to you now to tell you that you must suffer. Left foot, balisé. Right foot, balisé. Everybody just do the balisé. It's not funny. It really isn't. Well, boy, this is the greatest example of PNM shenanigans. PNM not understanding the first thing about value for money, morality in public office, tender processes, conflict of interest. They don't understand transparency, accountability. Yesterday in the Senate, I want you all to pay very close attention, because Clarence Rambarat, the Minister of Agriculture, when he not lineman with Boudet, stand up in the Senate there under questioning and said, let me summarize to you, that there is an institute called the Caribbean Fisheries Training and Development Institute. And there's a chairman and a board. And this chairman is appointed by him, the minister. He is the minister's appointee. And this chairman collects his chairman's stipend, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month for the chairman's stipend. And this chairman hired himself as principal, which is like CEO of the institute, and paid himself, approved himself, and paid himself $21,138 per month for about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 months already and continuing. And he also is the de facto, as the principal, he is also the de facto secretary of the board. So one human being appointed by Clarence Rambarat, the Minister of Agriculture, is the chairman of the board. He make himself the principal, so he draw his money here, principal $21,000, and he's the secretary of the board because the principal is the secretary of the board. And Clarence Rambarat, yesterday in the Senate, tried to tell you, the people, that normal. All you feel a lie? All you feel the douglAR lie? You feel I lie on Clarence? Run it, Archie. Is it the honorable minister's position that good corporate governance structure means that this chairman is also a substantive position of principal and the acting secretary of the board? Does the minister not see this as a breach of corporate responsibility and corporate governance?
Senator Roberts. Minister.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I've set out for this House and the country the circumstances. We have in the very fortunate position of having somebody who, if he demonstrated interest, may quite well hold the position of principal. I've demonstrated the circumstances we've had in CFTDI because of the training and the restrictions. We've had zero training. We normally provide training for Antigua and some of the other islands. We've had, because of the closure of the border, we've had no students down there. We've had minimal activities, and in those circumstances, there is absolutely no risk from a governance or other point of view to the organization. At the same time, I am on record in this House as saying that I consider the CFTDI to be on life support because, as my friend knows, there is additional work being done on the legislation which will determine what is required in terms of the institutional arrangements in our local fisheries sector. And that is what has attracted the EU, because, as my friend also knows, Trinidad and Tobago received a yellow card from the EU, and we are working to meet the requirements to lift that yellow card, and at the same time also meet the requirements to continue to export into the US market. So it is in those circumstances, the reduced activity, the minimal activity, the fact that we have somebody who is there who could carry on the functions, and while we do the work in parallel to determine the future shape, role, activities, and what a future principal will look like, we are able to continue the work, to continue the discussions we are having with the private sector entity, to facilitate the discussions with the European Union and prepare ourselves for the legislation, which we hope will be passed and will determine the shape and structure of the local seafood sector and the institutional arrangements to support the implementation of that legislation. Thank you.
Madam President, given the answer of the Honourable Minister, if Mr. Gabaldon you saw as fulfilling the role of principal and receiving a salary of $21,138 per month plus perks, wouldn't it have been responsible and correct for him to forego his chairmanship on the board?
Minister.
Madam President, the issue of responsibility and irresponsibility does not arise. I consider that Mr. Gabaldon and the rest of the board are well qualified. I've listed the qualifications in response to a previous question, and I am satisfied. It's not a perfect arrangement. It's not clearly, from what I've said, we embarked on a course before COVID. Circumstances have changed. The current arrangements do not impair the functioning of the institute, and I am very optimistic that we'll be able to make a decision. The interest of the EU is very recent. I'm very optimistic that the interest will benefit the CFTDI, and I'm also cognizant of the fact that that may cause us to rethink the functioning of a principal, and we'll deal with that when we come to that point.
And the Honourable Minister is very optimistic. The reason and rationale for a chairman as opposed to a different human being principal is for checks and balances with the
Senator
expenditure.
Roberts, do you have a question?
Does the minister believe that checks and balances with one human being the principal and being monitored by himself is good corporate governance practice?
Madam President, I'll tell you what I consider to be good corporate governance practice. And I inherited the CFTDI from my friends who were in government before my...
No, I want you to understand what I want to say. If waffle, I wanted to get some syrup, some maple syrup for he, because if waffle was an item, Clarence would have been the king of waffle. He is trying to justify and blaming COVID and all kind of thing that a man appointed by him is the chairman who hire himself as a principal and paying himself $21,000 plus $1,100 plus perks and acting as his secretary. And Clarence P&M Rambarat is telling you in the Senate on the Hansard that he find that good. It's not ideal, but because of COVID and because of the EU and because of what? When they tell you, the PNM tell you that you're a pensioner and you get a food card, you're corrupt. When the PNM tell you that you're differently able and you get a food card, you're corrupt and you're greedy. When the PNM tell you that you're on public assistance and you get a food card, you're greedy and you're corrupt. If you go for 2 hamper, you're greedy and corrupt by the PNM. But when you are appointed by the minister as chairman of a board, as the minister's appointee, and then you hire yourself and pay yourself the CEO principal salary at $21,000 and perks and act as the secretary to monitor yourself, the PNM to say, well, it's COVID-19 and that is what we feel, nothing is wrong with that. Really? What say you PNM people? Oh, what is that? Paul Gabaldon paying check. Who is that? Your signature, Mr. Paul Gabaldon? Is it you signing your own check? Clarence, it's best you go and line with Rowley and Al-Rawi with Budit. You cannot be serious. And just, if you all feel Anil lie, Archie, play the little clip when Clarence said, because the board consists of a few people, and I want to ask those people if they agreed with this. Natasha Isaac, Trevor Wallace, Samuel Dennis, a lawyer, Samuel Dennis, you agreed with this? Fayola Barkley, you agreed with this? Denise Dixon Cunningham, Dr. Carla Phillips Savage, did y'all agree with this nonsense that Clarence trying to defend? And Clarence appointed this man, you know, because some other people, because of their qualifications and experience, they've made up the board. But Clarence, this is the minister's appointee, who is the chairman and hire himself to be principal and draws in 2 pay plus perks. Clarence, who appointed this man? Let me hear. Run it.
President, the names, portfolio responsibilities and qualifications of the management committee as follows. Paul Gabardon, a representative of the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. Paul Gabardon, a representative of the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, the chairman of the Management Committee.
A representative of who? The Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries. Who is the Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries? The same man there who looking down, he can't look up, and he's stuttering and stumbling like as Drubal Chavez, just like his Buddhist loving leader. Look at him, because the principal's post, you must recognize, and for you all who understand public service and governance and so on, is a substantive post on the organizational structure. And if Mr. Gabardon moves from chairman to principal, then the chairman, by becoming the principal, is now an employee who is under the management and checks and balances and guidance of the chairman. So Chairman Gabardon is monitoring employee Gabardon. Really? In Trinidad and Tobago, mass media, what say y'all? What process was used to hire the principal? And this is for all of the board members there. Let me read all your names clearly, you know. Natasha Isaac, Trevor Wallace, Samuel Dennis, Fayola Barkley, Dennis Dixon Cunningham, and Dr. Carla Phillips Sauvage. Y'all are on the board of the Caribbean Fisheries Training and Development Institute. Did y'all approve this? Did y'all have an HR committee of the board who approved the chairman to be the principal and draws all that pay and all that money? Did y'all really? What was the process? How did you choose him? Who approved that? Now it gets even worse, because in that day you would have heard in between the waffle that Clarence Rambarat said that the cabinet approved Mr. Gabardon. The cabinet approved Mr. Gabardon as chairman, and later on, after he said they went through advertisement, the cabinet then approved Mr. Gabardon as chairman and principal. Clarence, if that is true, you've just put the whole cabinet of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago in some very hot water. We would like to see that cabinet note where the cabinet, chaired by the Honorable Prime Minister Keith Christopher Rowley and supported by the Honorable Attorney General Faris Al-Rawi, where they sat in the cabinet and approved a chairman to take up a substantive post of principal and be paid a salary as an employee who is monitored by the chairman himself. I would love to see Keith Rowley and Faris Al-Rawi, that cabinet note that Clarence Rambarat said on Hansard that y'all, the cabinet, approved. Will Gabardon collect a gratuity as well when this period is finished? This is very interesting. And then leave that there, no, Archie. You're going in the Guardian today, right? Now that bacchanal bus in the Senate yesterday, at least the Guardian print something. But what the Guardian did, all the Guardian did is print 94% of what Clarence said. They missed the whole point. They didn't alert you to the point that the PNM, the minister, appointed a man as his ministerial appointee as chairman. And then that minister took a cabinet note that whatever process went on with the board at the CFTDI, that minister took a cabinet note to his cabinet and said, the same man who I put as chairman is now going to be chairman and principal. Please approve that cabinet. And the PNM cabinet under Rowley and Al-Rawi approved what Clarence did. Not of that in the Guardian, you know. The Guardian just print all the waffle about the EU and COVID-19 and all of that. What say you, sensible citizens of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago? Clarence, I think Budit calling you. Was the Prime Minister misled on the Coast Guard Venezuela issue come from the Sunshine, Fred Livermore? This is a very interesting article, because we saw last week, I told you about Coast Guard Grenada and how they beat up and mash up people, and Grenada News told us and so on. I commented that just now. But in the Yaelvis Santoyo Sarabia story, the baby who got his head blown apart, the baby who was killed by our Coast Guard, when he and 37 other people, including his mother who was shot, were unarmed, and trying to enter Trinidad and Tobago illegally. But they were unarmed, no weapons, no danger, and they were shot. But the Sunshine prints some interesting information. I think all of you, including Vasant and Bo Tiwari, who supporting Keith Rowley, y'all want to be what? Opposition? Or y'all want to join with the PNM? Or y'all want to ensure that the UNC and the opposition never win? Is that what you want, Bo Tiwari? Because you obviously don't want to attack the PNM, because you are hugging the PNM and joining with the PNM, saying that Kamla Prasad Bisesa was wrong to state that Coast Guard killing a baby and shooting a mother and shooting at unarmed people was wrong. Kamla was wrong for saying that. And Bo Tiwari and Vasan Bharat. Well, I want to ask y'all two PNM members, Bo Tiwari and Vasan PNM Bharat. Let me ask you, because the Sunshine read it. And then Vasan, you just write in the Sunshine, read page 14. The Moruga version of the Venezuelan tragedy, right? In a traumatic twist, there was a Moruga fisherman on board. He claimed that they transferred the people who had entered Trinidad and Tobago waters illegally onto their boat, and when they were about 15 minutes away from shore, they encountered the Coast Guard. Being on board the boat, he denied the claim that the pirogue rammed the Coast Guard. So that's the main issue here. The Coast Guard said they were lives in danger. A pirogue with 37 people could ram anything, but they say that, right? The man, Trini fisherman here, said nobody here tried to ram no Coast Guard. The Coast Guard said it had one little light craft that they went down in. No, the man said it had two. He said they did nothing to warrant the Coast Guard shooting at the vessel. You see? But the baby is dead. But you all try to say, well, he illegal, he mother illegal, he could dead. And really? Really, Vasant? Really, Bo? Really? So police who have authority, and once they have gun, they could just shoot citizens, shoot people. If you do something illegal, just shoot up everybody and kill them? Really? That's how it will be if y'all were leading a country? Vasant and Bo? PNM B team? There were neither guns nor drugs on the boat. The fact remains that they obeyed and they did not attempt to speed up, because Rowley said they were given legal orders. They were given instructions, legitimate instructions, and they disobeyed. Rowley, no investigation, but he's stating that for the world. But the witness who was there said, listen, as we hear them thing and them flare, we shut down boat and we obey. But baby dead, mother gets shoot. But Rowley talk, supported by Bo Tiwari. And interesting. Good thing it had Kamla to fight for people, for little babies and mothers, even if they are illegal immigrants, because we signed UN treaty, UNCHR and so on, UNHCR. We sign human rights treaties. No child is to lose their life while they are looking to survive. The frightening the Moruga fisherman said, he then saw baby Yaelvis Santoyo Sarabia and his mother, Dairelvis Sarabia, bleeding. When I see she raise up, I watch the baby and I see a big hole in the baby head. She was crying. She was in blood. I get real frightened. He said the Coast Guard officers who were wearing ski masks, why are you all wearing ski masks? Approached the vessel in two smaller boats, cursing, asking for what was this, asking for the, cursing and asking. Didn't we hear that from the Grenada thing? What was the self-defense justification when the Coast Guard vessel was never attacked nor rammed, according to the Coast Guard's communication agent? And leave that there. And then I would like to ask, why is the Coast Guard making a statement? And the Coast Guard and other arms of the Defense Force and so on under a Chief of Defense Staff? So why is the Coast Guard, one unit of the entire battery, giving a statement? And they to brief the Chief of Defense Staff, and the Chief of Defense Staff, who is in control, is to make a statement to the population or to the public? Why the Coast Guard made a statement, aided and abetted and supported by Rowley? What's going on? Where's the Chief of Defense Staff? The last time we heard him, he tried to support the PNM's nonsense by saying 1,000 hours of patrol could fit into 1 week. Remember that? Since then, he he Balize juice run out and he hiding. But think about that. Why is the Coast Guard making statements? Now, and actually don't lose this here. You all see this? Minister, Coast Guard crew involved in death of Venezuelan baby removed from sea duties. Now listen very carefully. Guardian newspaper, you are dishonest, you are mischievous, you are disgusting. Nothing that Fitzgerald Hines said in the Senate had anything to do with the Coast Guard incident with the Venezuelan migrants and the death of Yaelvis Santoyo Sarabia and his mother. And look what the Guardian prints. Minister, Coast Guard crew involved in death of Venezuelan baby. Actually put up the other image that came right behind that, because that is the Gail Alexander article. Because underneath there is the article which speaks nothing to what the Guardian prints here. The article here, Gail Alexander talks the truth about Grenadian crew, about a cargo vessel, was allegedly verbally abused and so on. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines confirmed this in the Senate on Tuesday. Hines said the assistance of the independent investigator and all of that. He added thus far the team with the Grenada issue. Nothing. Put back the next one that you had before there now, Archie. Put back. Now the editor took this and trying to ease up the stupidity and the inhumane treatment of human beings by the PNM, put back Elvis and the mummy with the headline. So this story, which was about the Grenada situation, look at what the editor of the Guardian put. Minister, Coast Guard and crew involved in death of Venezuelan baby removed from sea duties. The minister never said that. And I am asking y'all, and I'm going to play this now, because in this video, Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines understands Botiwari, Vassant, and Rowley. He understands perfectly what should be done, what ought to be done when extrajudicial either killings or abuse of power, abuse of systems, when reports are made. What should be done? One, no statements about anything. Just say an investigation is ongoing. Two, the men or who were accused must be suspended. Three, investigation must be here and interview the other people, the Grenadan. How come Ethelbert knows exactly what has to be done properly in this case? But in this case, the opposite was done. Everything was done wrong. 35 witnesses sent home. Rowley Prime Minister, Botiwari, Nirad Tiwari, Vasan Bharat attacking Kamla Prasad Bisesa and talking about unpatriotic and low politics and so on. And they didn't take witness statements, no independent investigation, no discussion, no boat analysis, no statements taken, no suspension of the Coast Guard men who were out there. No, none of that was done in this case. So how come Ethelbert know how to do it correct? No. And for those PNM who were so dastardly in attacking Kamla and this situation and talking about Venezuelans and the mother, how she is responsible and she caused she child to death and all that who you all were saying, how come what you have to say now when Ethelbert is doing the correct thing now? Archie, let me hear Ethelbert. Run it.
Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard interceptor crew involved in the incident has been removed from seagoing duties until the conclusion of the investigations. Further, the assistance of an independent investigatory body from the Defense Force headquarters has been sought to carry out an in-depth investigation. Thus far, this team has contacted the investigator from Grenada.
Can you tell us when that communication took place?
Minister. Unable to say with any greater specificity. Suffice it to say that communication has been made and the Coast Guard is awaiting feedback in that regard.
Senator Mark.
Is the minister aware that based on a report on television last evening, the gentleman who is the captain of the crew of that vessel indicated that up to yesterday, there was no communication whatsoever from anyone, any authorities in Trinidad and Tobago.
So I ask you, Fitzgerald Hines said the Coast Guard interceptor crew involved in the incident with the Grenadian vessel has been removed from seagoing duties until conclusion of the investigation. Why was this not done in this case? Why was this not done in the Paria case? Same principle. Why are the Paria management and board still there when an investigation and a commission of inquiry is to be done? How come they know what is right in certain circumstances, but try to fight for what is wrong in different circumstances? Fitzgerald Hines said, as he responded to urgent question yesterday, Hines also said the assistance of an independent investigatory body from the Defense Force, so not the Coast Guard, an independent investigative body under the Chief of Defense Staff, correct, and any other independent investigation. How come they did that then and not in Elvis and Toyo Sarabia? Why the difference? You see, principles, process, ethics, morality, justice, natural justice principles, they must remain the same, must not be subjective. Ethelbert said, thus far this team has contacted the investigators from Grenada. Did they contact anybody in Venezuela after they sent home all the witnesses and so on? Did they contact anyone? Where's that investigation with Elvis Santoyo Sarabia, who is dead? He said preliminary interviews have been conducted with the Coast Guard personnel. Did they interview up to now all of them Coast Guard who they did not suspend in this? Did they take the statements of each and every one individually? No, they talk, and Prime Minister talk, and Botiwari talk, and Vasant and Nirad Tiwari talk, and support and attack Kamla, because Kamla is the only one talking thing with sense. Because all who attack Kamla, how come Ethelbert agreeing with Kamla now? How come they do the correct thing in the Grenada situation now? However, preliminary interviews, right, the police service, if called upon with the TTPS own investigators into this event. So where the TTPS, where DCP done in this one? Now, as I said, to the Guardian, you must not lie. So correct that. The Coast Guard never, the minister never said the crew involved in the death of Venezuelan baby removed from sea duties. All you're trying to sanitize the PNM. Them operating normal since then. How long ago that was? 6 weeks ago? But yet, Venezuelans get 1 year extension of work permit. This is the confusion. The PNM has no plan, so they don't even understand. They don't know who here, who not here. And those who here and registered, all they do is just keep giving them a renewal. Venezuelans get 1 year work permit extension again. But yet, you're giving them work permit extension, them who here. But then all of a sudden, you're trying to tell we shoot to kill on the high seas, unarmed women and children. Eh? I want to say to Eugene Tia, I was about to say, boy, and in fact I did say, I think on a Coffee and Doubles, well done, Mr. Eugene Tia, for coming out, for taking yourself out, whether you forgot about your conflict, whether you forgot that you utilized Stuart Smallpin Young and A.A. Commoner as lawyers, and then Kamla had to remind you. But I can't say well done, Eugene Tia, because you went and opened your mouth and you said, it is clear that the good of the country takes a back seat to the shenanigans of the few. Really, Mr. Tia? Shenanigans? Isn't it just that you're conflicted and someone else should be appointed, and the energy chamber should not appoint anyway because they're all conflicted, and that BP and Shell should not appoint because they are conflicted, and a conflict has nothing to do. You know, Mr. Tia, by your attack on Kamla, your attack on the UNC, you showed that we were so correct, because nobody was actually saying that you're a PNM, you know. All I was saying is, sir, if you're conflicted, simple, come out. That's all I was saying, you know. That's all Kamla was saying. But you come out and attack. So you now show that it wasn't only apparent bias, but is actual bias. You is a flipping PNM. Run what I said, Archie.
conflict of interest does not involve personality. It does not matter who the human being is. How good the human being is may or may not be. That is all irrelevant. A principle of conflict of interest is very simple. If you have or could get or derive any benefit, or you have any close relation with anyone involved in the decision, or anyone who will be affected by your decision, then you are eliminated from being in a position of making that decision. It's very simple. And the principle of apparent bias must be upheld. Apparent bias is simply that a reasonable person will say that if you have a relationship with someone, that you may not be able, not that you actually will, or you actually would, or you actually do something wrong, or you're actually a bad person, that on the preponderance of evidence, reasonable people would feel that you would take a side. So therefore, it is incumbent, especially in critical investigations, to get people who are totally independent, who have no relationship or connection whatsoever with any of the parties involved in what is being investigated. It's a principle that upholds the judiciary, natural justice. These are very simple things.
But yet you come out and attack me, attack the UNC as shenanigans. You see your PNM petticoat showed. Control your emotions, boy. Okay, Tia? And then comes Tia friend and Tia attorney to say Kamla's attack on Tia is disgusting. Imagine Stuart Smallpin Young, the king of recusal. The man who, since he's swearing to be Rowley K-Pax liquor, his family just move up into the billions of dollars of public sector work. He who recused himself nearly 50 times from a cabinet. Stuart Smallpin Young, who is the attorney of Tia, who was appointed, and he approved Tia with his cabinet, in the cabinet, approved his client. He come to say, Kamla disgusting for alerting the population to the conflict of Mr. Tia. Well, let me just tell you something, Smallpin. You know what is disgusting? Disgusting is recusing yourself 50 times. Disgusting is your brother's company miraculously going from $0 work before you swearing into $4 billion work in 5 years after you swearing in a government. Disgusting is leaving your family on a bench outside, leaving the family of divers on a bench outside while their relatives suffocate, scream, pray, and die underwater in a pipe, leaving the families out with no communication, no food, no water, no air condition, treating them like dogs outside. That is disgusting, Stuart Smallpin Young. Sleeping with and influencing an investigative political journalist while she writes lies on your political opponents is disgusting. You know what is disgusting, Smallpin? Disgusting is Emailgate, where a prime minister manufactured, concocted, and came into the parliament to lie on other human beings, accusing them of conspiracy to commit murder and so on. That is disgusting. You know what else is disgusting? A human being who would know that and go and defend that pathological liar in Emailgate. That is disgusting. Isn't that where you met Rowley and why y'all are so close? Because y'all are two peas in a pod. Y'all are two disgusting, rotten peas in a pod. That's disgusting. Spitting out a child after being the man in the house for 10 years when the child makes some wrong decisions, Smallpin, that's disgusting. When you are the de facto stepfather for 10 full years, and then when the child makes some bad choices, you say, "I not my child." That is disgusting, Smallpin. Do you know what? Horning a man who is a family man and moving him out and then moving in and damaging the family, and then when the family children respond by bad choices, you come out and say, "I'm not my child." That is disgusting, you scumbucket, Smallpin. Disgusting is your racist comment when people saw extrajudicial killings by the police with man hand up and police picking up things off the ground and throwing human beings from a gold teeter on the ground into a van. And when black young boys find that was wrong, you come to say that the UNC had to pay them to protest. Because in your racist mind, the black boys too stupid to watch our video and understand that wrong. That's a breach of constitutional rights. That is a breach of police power. That is a breach of protocol. That is extrajudicial in your mind. You know what's disgusting, small pin? For a minister of national security with no evidence whatsoever just to come out and state and to double down and triple down that the UNC opposition is paying criminals to kill innocent citizens. In other words, commit acts of terrorism without an iota of proof. That is disgusting, you scumbucket. You want to talk about disgusting, small pin? Disgusting is overseeing 538 murders in 1 year and becoming the second worst minister of national security in history, and then saying it's not your job to fight crime. Disgusting is boasting about bid rigging in ferries and talking about the committee after going down there and drinking scotch and eating shrimps and visiting and taking bids from Hostel and Incat, and then coming out to the population and saying that your committee saw the secret bid of one company, shared the secret bid with another company, and that company brought down, and all you hand out 1-1 like mints. That is disgusting, small pin. Disgusting is Delsey Gate. Citizens can't come home, can't come and take care of their properties, can't see their families, can't bury their loved ones. But you land a plane, a sanctioned jet, the only human being who could allow them to land with PDVSA and say you ain't know about that? Delsey Gate? That was disgusting. Attacking Barbados, attacking the citizens who were in Suriname, attacking the citizens who were in Margarita, attacking our citizens all over the place, and Barbados, our CARICOM brother and sister. That was disgusting, small pin. You want to talk disgusting? What else is disgusting? Let me tell you something. Small pin, you know what is disgusting? Your rhythm. I can't even watch that video again, small pin, because every time I watch you attempt to dance with your no rhythm, disgusting self, I feel I lose a little bit of my douglAR rhythm, my Indian Tassa heights or my African bass. I just get confused by watching your disgusting lack of rhythm, just like your disgusting lack of ethics, you disgusting clown. So in short, small pin, disgusting is you. Okay, small pen? Move that clown. Here the Express. Politicians get out the way. Express, but then I read the whole editorial, and it's PNM, it's the government. You're attacking them, but your headline says politicians. Anybody reading the headline would think, well, is a politician, Kamala is a politician, Lacrambodo is a politician, David Lee is a politician, all of them, Saddam Hussein, all of these politicians. I say it's all of we are dealing with. But the entire editorial shows that the PNM government must get out of the way. Then why don't you put that on the headline, Express? Why are you all so disgusting? Because they say politicians get out of the way, right? Let me read for you what the Express is saying in today's editorial. Let us not forget that the Paria incident resulted in the loss of life and injury. The investigation of these deaths is properly within the province of the police and requires a full inquest. No government committee, regardless of how professionally qualified and independent-minded its members are, has any locus standi in an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death. So, small pin, the Express is agreeing with every word Kamala said about conflict of interest, about taking the government out of it because they have skin in the race, suspending the people who are there and conducting a proper investigation according to the principles of natural justice and evidence gathering and conclusion making. So according to you, small pin Stuart Young, the Express is disgusting because they just agreed with Kamala. Minister Young's committee has attracted controversy because it was presented to the country as the government's singular attempt to get to the truth of what happened at Paria's birth 6 on the afternoon of February 25th. Almost by definition, this cannot be Oh my goodness, Express, you're disgusting. You're saying that Stuart Young doesn't know what he's talking about, that he's a complete stranger to the truth and does not understand the principles of, and he's a lawyer? A government ministry investigating a deadly incident at a government-owned enterprise headed by a board appointed by the government and overseen by the very ministry can only be an internal investigation, whether or not it chooses to co-opt external personnel. Exactly, Express. The principle is so simple. But you all are talking, Tia, you're talking shenanigans, and your lawyer talking disgusting. Well, then the Express is being totally disgusting by just stating the norms of propriety, of correctness, of independent investigation and truth. Fact-finding that leads to truth and trust. So the Express is discussing. The Express went on, to agree with Kamala some more. To attempt to pass it off as an independent investigation is to overlook the inherent conflict of interest of himself investigating himself. The expertise and professional independence of the individuals on the ministry's team does not alter this fact. Indeed, one cannot rule out the possibility that a police investigation may require the Ministry of Energy and its minister to answer questions pertinent to the circumstances leading to the tragedy. Disgusting, Express. Printing the truth. Small pin, you've got to attack the Express too. Don't only attack Kamala, you're attacking a woman on International Women's Day. A small pin, that's what they say with man with small pin, Yeah? Don't attack no woman when she correct. Attack the Express now. If all these entities are doing their job independently and expertly, they should be able to establish the facts regarding what went wrong, who or what was responsible, and whether the evidence supports a case for criminal negligence. The politicians, no, not the politicians, Express. Because Kamala is a politician and Kamala said every word that you said there. That's what Kamala said. That David Lee is a politician and everything you wrote here, that's what David Lee said. Anil is a politician and everything you wrote there, I just showed you coffee and doubles, is what Anil said. Wade Mark is a politician. Everything you wrote here is what Wade Mark said. So don't come and say, the politicians. No, the PNM government should get out of the way and allow these bodies to do their work. If they do not have the required expertise on board, the government's role would be to make the funds available for contracting it. Okay, well, ask the government if they made the funds available for the police to get a geologist to confirm a fake oil report and the numbers that they have. Did they do that? How come you understand all of this propriety, but yet you allow the Prime Minister, Keith Christopher Rowley, to lose confidence in a police commissioner, contact the independent chairman of the Police Service Commission, liaise with the president, get information on the time and date of the delivery of a merit list, thwart the merit list, send his Minister of National Security to talk and interact with the other police service commissioners in order to ensure that a man don't get a job in an independent institution of the police, and then they can appoint a man who does dance with them. They tell me don't walk with Jacob because Jacob does walk and shake up. How come you can write all of this so pristinely, perfectly, but then you allow independent Senator Vera and all of them to talk a set of nonsense when Kamala is asking for a tribunal to investigate the collapse of the Police Service Commission that carried us into a constitutional crisis and brought down the independent institution of the police service? Are you all serious? How come you all have selective intelligence? Two senior counsel called for inquest. So Ramesh Marad and Israel can say, well, inquest, that could be another way. PM Scraps diving probe says BP and Shell pulled out after Tia's resignation. Really? Did they pull out? Were they ever involved? Did they ever agree? Because Archie, didn't I ask them, BP and Shell, quite nicely, not to get involved in something because you know you'll be conflicted. Run it, Archie. Archie, you fall asleep? You find it or you don't find it?
No, the Energy Chamber should not be allowed to aid and abet the government in sanitizing this investigation. We should call them out. We should not allow them to help the government sanitize this investigation. Is the Energy Chamber supporting their friend Tia in order to help the government sanitize the investigation? That's the question. I want to ask whether BPTT, Massey Wood, Atlantic LNG, EOG, Methanex, Shell, Ernst & Young, and other national and international corporate citizens, whether they have consciously entered into the political guile. Because they are the people who have representatives on this Energy Chamber. Have these companies entered into the political guile? That would be most unfortunate, but it would make them fear political game. So I'm calling on all these persons who are in that Energy Chamber. Were you consulted? Did you all totally agree that Mr. Eugene Tia should sit on this committee? Were you consulted? And secondly, were you consulted when the Energy Chamber put out their statement to contradict what I had said about Mr. Tia? I'm asking that question because it's a real question at this time. It's shameful that members of the board of the chamber have no issue with Tia's presence on the committee. I wonder if when they recommended Mr. Tia's name to Stuart Young, because he's the man who is the minister responsible, recommended his name to Minister Young. I wonder if Minister Young told them, well, okay, he's a great man, but he was my client. I was his lawyer. He was also the client of Mr. Kwamina, Michael Kwamina. Did he tell them that? Did he forget?
Yes, well, that was camera. Don't bother with my video because people could watch my video also because they know that they watch douglAR Politics. And I said quite nicely to BP and Shell that you all are regulated by the government. You depend on the government for blocks that your geologists and your experts may want. Your entire business in Trinidad and Tobago is dependent on the government. And just like what the Express said, that you could not be independent. The Energy Chamber could not be independent. Mr. Tia could not be independent because the two proponents involved in the power positions were his personal attorneys. That's just a simple thing. So Tia, you just get vexed and attack the UNC because but what is wrong with you, Tia? Tia, you know. Actually, we're going to move ahead, you know. Let's move ahead to Dinesh Rambali. Because when you talk about this, and Rowley's playing games with a serious investigation, and the PNM, for whatever reason, did not handle the situation humanely. Forget the facts for now and so on. Well, we know the facts and some of them and so on. We're waiting for the investigation, commission of inquiry, inquest, whatever it is. But why did the PNM, why did Minister Stuart Young, why did Keith Christopher Rowley treat the families, treat those who were in pain, in torture in this tragedy so inhumanely? Why did Paria, why did Newman George, Rowley neighbor and friend and golfing partner, two of them just play the game like two goats? Why did they treat the people so poorly? No communication, letting them know that the mission moved from rescue to recovery on a press conference 8 p.m. on a Monday, some 72 hours after the incident. And then lying in a press in a newspaper and a statement saying that on Saturdays between 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., you told the families that it moved, that their family members were dead. You lie. You frank comment lie. Right here in this thing, this lie, and it's about 100 lies, but that one is the most inhumane. Has Rowley even communicated with the families? Did he go to show some empathy and sympathy in one of the funerals? Two of the funerals? Did he go with some cricks and some orange juice to a wake? Did he go and say a prayer with them? Did he go and do anything? But listen to Dinesh Rambali, and I must say, brother, I feel your passion. And that's the difference between UNC and PNM. Passion. UNC care about people. Run it, Archie.
I want to tell you that what they go on to say here is that they basically contemplate, and this is what is instructive, Mr. Kurban later contemplated other entries which would have involved him proceeding further into the pipeline. It was determined by Paria. Remember, Kurban is the one who went in and saved that Budram, that lone survivor. When Budram came out, the first thing, he doesn't know whether he's coming or he's going. He now come out of a chamber where he cannot have air. Nothing at all, no light. He has now come out, and the first thing he could say, and only thing he says, is go back down there. Your father was the one who was pushing me up and helping me to come up, and go back and save him. And they don't even give Kurban that credence that he went down there to save someone. And listen to what they say here. It was determined by Paria and supported by the Coast Guard, the USH agency, and external experts that it was too dangerous for anyone to proceed further into the pipeline without posing significant risk to life. So Paria determined this, and now they call out a whole set of people, you know, as though these people supported them in making that decision to plug the only point of entry to go and rescue the other divers. Listen to Paria's statement. They are saying that when they made that decision to lock the divers down there, and so that there was no way of rescuing them after that, it was supported by the Coast Guard. Well, I want to know what the Coast Guard have to say about this. It was supported by the USH agency. Do you know that under the law, it is the USH agency who has the custody under the USH Act to secure custody of all the documents and all the evidence? So that authority who has that duty under law is the one who they are saying was part and parcel of the decision to keep those divers down there and to plug the only point of entry. And people want to ask why we are insisting on having an independent investigation. Listen to what LMCS has said in a statement earlier today. From the time that LMCS was made aware of the loss of contact with our divers on the 25th of February 2022, our singular aim was the rescue of our employees. This is what LMCS, the immediate employer, was saying. And they proved that. They have one survivor to prove this, that they were securing the rescue of its employees. We not only, I continue to read the statement, we not only had the manpower and personnel to carry out their rescue. They proved that. They say here, we not only had the manpower and personnel to carry out their rescue, but we provided Paria with the methodology to execute the rescue. This is what LMCS is saying. At all material times, we were prevented. Listen to this. LMCS is saying at all material times, we were prevented. All material times mean at all important times, all the times that mattered, all those seconds that were being wasted, and Paria can't get the act together, whether it's 2:30, 2:45, or in Friday night when it happened. We were prevented from executing this rescue by Paria and the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard.
That picture there tells 1,000 words, you know. Because you all like to play games and about politicians on tricks and games. You see the real outpouring of love and concern from Kamla Prasad Bissessa for that mama losing her son. That is not pretense. When Kamla is Prime Minister, go and check and read, see the cabinet notes. They love and they care for people. Do you see, did you look at Dinesh Rambali, his face, his passion? Leaders find people who are passionate like themselves. Leaders find people and select people in their own image. Rambali just showed passion and care. What did Kamla show? What has Kamla shown? Rowley shows what? And who does he select? Small Pin, Colmimbot, Convent Gyal, Rohan Sinanan, Al Rawi. Those are his choices. Camille Robinson Regis, Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines. They are all in the mirror image of Rowley, heartless and not caring. Now, LMCS said the company that lost 4 of its divers in the Paria pipeline says it had the manpower and the means to find them alive. And those who prevented any rescue attempt, despite being told how it could be done, must be held accountable for not allowing the men a chance to live. So that's a critical point. So that's LMCS. Now I'm going to read for you from the Paria statement, the Newman George statement, the Mushtaq Mohammed statement, the Colin Piper statement. So LMCS is saying that they were ready with their plan, their rescue mission, and they were prevented. So the question is, who prevented them is responsible for the men dying, correct? Let me read from Paria now. This is not from Anil, Kamla, Dinesh, whoever, LMCS, Kurban. This is not from nobody else but Paria themselves. Go and read it for yourself. Here, Paria. Mr. Kurban later contemplated other entries which would have involved him proceeding further into the pipeline. It was determined by Paria and supported by the Coast Guard and external experts that it was too dangerous for anyone to proceed further into the pipeline without posing significant risk to life. So Paria, you prevented it. Now you have to justify it, you have to explain it, and science would tell, investigation would tell, because LMCS says, and even in Paria's statement, they said LMCS had a rescue plan. Okay, so then why you stop them? What the Coast Guard, what is the Coast Guard expertise? What is the Coast Guard expertise in commercial welding and deep sea diving? And what is their knowledge and intelligence of that area and that pipeline and so on? The LMCS has all the knowledge, all the intelligence, all the planning, as Russian Paris said. So why, as Paria, you admitted, Paria, that you took the decision to prevent them? You took the decision to stop them from continuing to rescue Paria. That's the entire issue. Look it here. All they don't say, Anil lie, no, this is Paria. This is Newman George and them. Don't say I lie. They are saying that they prevented the rescue from going on because they determined. On what? You have to go and justify on what you determine, why you determine, how you get involved, why you stop the rescue, what is the procedure, what is normal industry standard. That's what we want to know. Because by your own statement, Paria, you confess. So stupid. When a prime minister selects people, he or she selects people in his own likeness. Rodney Charles broke it down so well on TNT Speaks on Thursday, gone in Chaguanas West. And tomorrow, Pointe-à-Pierre, all the people in Pointe-à-Pierre, put on your mask, get your sanitizer and come out. Down by Soledad. David Lee, TNT Speaks. Tomorrow, you'll hear the facts, you'll hear the information. TNT Speaks tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Pointe-à-Pierre. Rodney Charles, come in from Thursday by Dinesh the Mayor, Rodney Charles.
I listen to Coffee and Doubles. You know about that? Coffee and Doubles in the morning. And I learned all the nicknames of the PNM misadministrators. So, among them, I learned that one is Convent Girl. All you know who is Convent Girl? Dial Singh. The next one is WPC. Who is WPC? Camille Regis Robinson. And then there's another one, and this is a little tricky. Who is Small Pin? Stuart Young. And who is Colmimbert nickname? What is his nickname? I was told it's Dwayne. I was told it's Dwayne. And who is the Honorable Minister of Education? What is the nickname? Bundles. You know, she likes to come with the headrests and fight and bacchanal taking place in the education system. But she's well dressed and pretty because that is all that the PNM has to offer. But the one that I want to talk a little bit tonight, and I don't have much time, is Fitzgerald Ethelbert Hines, also known Pomsite Rasta.
But it's very true. And when you look at all of them and the nicknames, that's what Rowley selects, and that's why the place in a mess. Even Kamla Prasad Bisesa had to take note that because she's the best Minister of Education in the history of the country, followed by Tim Gopi Singh. So when you have a Minister of Education now who only studying bundles, not laptop, who's studying bundles, not school feeding, who's studying bundles, but not classes, who's studying bundles, but not scholarships. Here, Kamla, come in.
Wow. Committee 2021. Digital Transformation Advisory Committee. Wow. Our children don't have laptops in the schools. They don't have devices. They don't have anything. Huh? No broadband. No access to the internet and stuff. You talk about Committee for Digital Transformation. Advisory Committee. Where is that committee? Is it still advising? The Minister of Education, Gadsby Bundles or whatever is her name, is it still advising?
The Sunshine agree with Kamla. A commission of inquiry is needed. Editorial position of the Sunshine. Get it and read it. Friday, 11 March 2022, page 5, Sunshine. This country's rapid downward spiral. Mr. Ved Siraram in the Sunshine, page 4, he says, this country seems cursed. How can so many disasters befall us in such rapid succession? The Paria calamity was unthinkable, where our citizens died choking for air. It would have been a terrifying experience, but this is nothing new to our citizens who died of COVID-19. Many of them would have died as a result of lack of oxygen and suffered a fate. I would shudder to imagine how many of them died for lack of oxygen at our hospitals and at home. Has government recorded the number of deaths from the COVID and among them who died as a result of lack of oxygen? I think not, adding to the string of gross negligence and incompetence demonstrated by the Ministry of Health and by extension the government. Special report by Ved Siraram. But yet the Guardian come to tell we on International Women's Day, Miriam Abdul PNM Richards, who has helped oversee the worst performance in the global pandemic on planet Earth. She helped oversee the death of 3,624 citizens. And all you put she in some Photoshop on the front page to tell we celebrate woman, when they have so many brilliant, successful women in Trinidad and Tobago. And then the Sunshine once more. Kamla on target this time. When the Sunshine agree with Kamla, you know the lady right. People are saying that they do not normally agree with Kamla, but on this occasion, they do. Kamla said that the rollback of COVID-19 restrictions announced by the Prime Minister in Parliament last Friday serves to distract from the preventable deaths of 4 divers. People are saying that they agree with Kamla that the ease in COVID restrictions was not to benefit the citizens, but instead a totally self-serving and obscene act to distract from the preventable Paria deaths. And that is why the people want to join Tobago, because enough is enough. You all now understand that errors were made because of the mass media telling you and presenting Keith Rowley as something that he not is. He has become unmasked for the heartless, selfish, nepotistic scumbucket that he is. And he must get out of the office of Prime Minister and stop dragging the flag. Stop using it to get Ole chips to share. But don't worry. When I tell you all that St. Joseph, we're ready. And the UNC is ready. And let me tell you something, that all that is going to happen from this point on in St. Joseph, the PNM is going to come to pretend to serve you now, because to serve you now, to mamagai you, to try and serve themselves coming up in local government election, and any time a general election could call, which is at any time. They come in now because they're frightened. So anything they come with, they come to fix your road, they come to fix water, they come to offer your program, they come to cut your grounds so you could exercise and so on. Tell them, thank you UNC, thank you Kamala, because St. Joseph, we ready, Archie.
We're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 ready. If you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready. Well, let me see your hands up, so everybody know, put your hands up, so if you're ready for the road, let your friend them know. We're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 we're ready for the road. We're ready for the road. So we're ready, yeah, we're ready, yeah, we're ready, 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 yeah, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready, we're ready.
Job that was stolen from her through lies and shenanigans. This will be the mood of the country. My mood, your mood. All are we gonna be just like this, Archie? Show them.